Hello and welcome to the Leveling Up podcast with me, George Swift. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, and to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for personal development, entrepreneurial development, and business growth content. And of course, subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. Today, I am talking basics, boring basics. Basics. They maketh the man, they maketh the woman, and they maketh the business. The bottom line is really simple. There are a handful of things that you do in your business. There's a handful of things that you absolutely must master in order to really elevate yourself as an entrepreneur, elevate yourself as a business owner, and take your business to the next level. One of my past careers, in my illustrious history of careers, was I was a martial arts instructor and I was a kickboxing coach. Now, when I used to run my kickboxing classes and clubs, we used to have kind of two definitions of the people that used to train with us. One of them, a little bit derogatory, and that was tourists. And the other one, we used to call our fighters, our professionals. And what separated the professionals from the tourists was really simple. It was the professionals' understanding of basics and their willingness to drill the basics over and over and over again. In other words, they understood that whilst the next looping, flying, whizzy kick might look good on paper, it may be great for showboating, it was never going to win them a competition. It was never going to give them the edge in their competitive careers. They understood that they had to stand in front of the bag, they had to stand in front of the pads, they had to stand in front of their sparring partners for hours and hours and hours on end, drilling the basics, the same punches, the same combination, the same kicks over and over again, the same exercises to condition their bodies over and over and over again. The tourists, on the other hand, these were the amateurs. These were the guys that liked the idea of fighting, probably liked the idea of winning trophies, etc. But they had a real reluctance, a boredom threshold that used to kick in, where they really just didn't want to completely just repeat the same old stuff over and over again. However, that is what wins fights. In business, it's exactly the same. If you're a tourist in business, what it means is this, is you'll go and learn the next thing, you'll go on the next seminar, you'll go on the next webinar, you'll go and get the next coach, or you'll read the next book, and you'll keep learning new shit, and you'll keep learning new stuff, and the latest techniques, and the latest thought processes around marketing or around online marketing or AdWords or campaigns or whatever it might be. And what it means is that you'll go out there and you'll keep learning new stuff, you'll keep bringing in the latest stuff, but you don't really apply the fundamentals that are going to get you and your business to the next level. If you're a professional in business, you understand that whilst it might be fun to go and learn all this stuff, and there may well be certain aspects of education out there that you do need to know and learn in order to grow your business, to grow yourself, fundamentally you understand that there is a handful of fundamentals, a handful of basics that you have to drill over and over and over again in order to take you and your business to the next level. If you are currently someone who can see that they fall into that amateur camp, in other words, they're always trying on the latest new thing, or they're always bringing out a new product, or before they've got one marketing campaign working, they get bored with that and they chop and change and try something new, one service offering, all this kind of stuff. They work with one type of client and they change to another type of client. Maybe you set up multiple businesses doing multiple different things and none of them are really truly delivering the results right now. Understand that you really want to step up into the professionals camp. And the professionals camp does require huge amounts of discipline. It does require huge amounts of conditioning. And you know what? You really do have to have a higher level in terms of your boredom threshold. You are going to be asked to do the same things over and over again, just like my fighters, just like any athlete out there. If you're a sprinter right now, you can go out and you can constantly keep reading the new fangled techniques on how to train and everything else. And, you might have to bring in some new stuff every now and again. But fundamentally, when you look at your training program, oh my God, it's boring. It's boring shit. It's getting up early and it's doing the same laps, the same repetitions, the same exercises over and over again. And whilst they might try and mix them up a little bit to create some kind of break from the monotony, the bottom line is really simple. They have to keep showing up up to the basics that are going to condition their body, condition their mind, condition themselves in order to be able to win races. And if you want to be successful in business, you need to do the same again. I see so many business owners, where they say, I tried this, but it didn't work. You say, well, how long did you try it for? A week, 2 weeks. We were talking to someone the other day, actually, and they were talking about a marketing campaign that wasn't working for them. They'd tried for 2 months, and they were talking about canning the marketing campaign because it hadn't delivered. And we were saying basically that 2 months is just not enough to know whether or not that marketing campaign was going to work or not. You don't know whether you were just one move away from making that marketing campaign work for you, or you don't know if you're 6 months away. But what I can tell you is after 2 months, you probably haven't done enough yet to exhaust the possibilities of whether or not that's going to work for you. So if you did that for 2 months, it doesn't work, and you chop and change into something else and do that for 2 months, it doesn't work. You do that a number of times, a handful of times, and suddenly a year has passed and you've made no penetration in the marketplace. You've had no impact in the marketplace because what you've done is you've dabbled in different things and you never stuck with anything long enough. Now, I know it can be really hard sometimes to know when do I quit and when do I dig in. And that can be something that you have to learn as part of your entrepreneurial journey. But the bottom line is really simple. You want to think about commitment and discipline to an avenue of activity, an avenue of business. You want to pick your best way forward. And what you want to do is do your due diligence up front and make sure and say, right, okay, given everything I know right now, all the information that I have, based on all the education I have and everything else, all the wisdom that I have, this is the route forward for me. Is it going to work? Who knows, right? A big part of business is working out what doesn't work. However, once you have that course of action, which is the best course of action that you can come up with, given everything that you know today and all the information that you have access to, then you have to go all in on that and you have to exhaust your possibilities and your opportunities in that direction before you quit. Otherwise, what happens is you become a little bit of a tourist. A tourist is someone that, goes to another country or goes to an area or a town, and they do a little bit of sightseeing, they look around, they kick some tires, they pick up a little bit of the culture, but they never really kind of grow their roots there. They then move on to the next place and move on to the next place. The difference would be, you go to a country and you stay there for 6 months or 12 months and you really get some roots there and you really get under the bonnet of what the culture is there. And you really understand what it's like to be in that country and you understand the undercurrents of the culture there and everything else. So in business, it's the same thing. You can be a tourist, you can dabble and you can, flit around, but until you really commit yourself to something, until you really have the discipline to turn up over and over again to make something work, then the chances are what you're going to do is you're going to do a lot of dabbling, but you're not going to get any real results. So the basics in your business are going to be dependent on your business and they're going to be dependent on your current stage of your business. So for example, when you're starting out in business right from the beginning, I always say this, too many people get bogged down with their marketing, they get too bogged down with all these different things. What you want to be doing really simply is you want to go out there and meet people and you want to be selling your product, right? It's that simple. And that strategy is going to serve you probably for the first 12 months or more. It will take you to 100 grand or more, just going out, networking, finding out where your customer base is and everything else, and going out and meeting those people face to face, shaking hands, smiling at each other, and doing your pitches and getting the word out there about what you do. That's going to be the basics, and you're going to have to do that for month after month after month. In fact, sales is a discipline that you're going to have to do in your business for years to come. I mean this. The businesses that I know that hit £1 million or more, they fundamentally have the owner in the sales director's chair, the salesman chair, or the sales lady's chair first and foremost. If you don't like sales, if you're bored of sales, if you, fearful of sales or whatever it might be, uncomfortable with sales, don't find it boring, don't enjoy it, oh my God, I tell you now, you're going to really struggle to create success out of your business. So one of the fundamentals that almost certainly going to be needed in your business, one of the basics is going to be sales. And what you want to do is you want to work out what works for you in terms of sales, right? Is it picking up the phone and, hammering the telephone directory? Is it going out knocking on doors? Is it connecting with people through LinkedIn or Facebook and making those direct links and trying to get phone calls and having the phone calls? Is it going networking? Is it walking the streets, handing out flyers? Whatever it is for your business, okay? If you've been in business for a certain amount of time, you probably have a good idea already what is working for your business. You want to get rid of all the tourism stuff. And what you want to do is you want to absolutely set your course and say, right, let's double down, let's quadruple down on this activity that is already proving itself to work in my business. So once you understand that sales, for example, is going to be absolutely one of your basics, then within sales, there's going to be one, maybe two ways that work for you. Then you have to repeat and repeat and repeat. Every day, every week, every month, for a year, for 2 years, maybe for multiple years. Your business then grows, it goes to the next level, and then you'll need to bring in other basics. So you may need to up your marketing game, and you may realize that, you have to pick a marketing channel, a marketing avenue, and then you commit to that. And then you have to keep showing up and going it over and over again. One of the things that I struggle with, I'm a creative. I call myself a rehabilitated creative. I always want to do the next thing, the shiny thing. It's always the fun thing, right? The thing that I'm currently working on, I have an attention span like a gnat, But what I've had to cultivate and develop over the years is a discipline, an endurance to keep showing up and banging away at the same thing over and over again, because if you don't, you're never going to break through that wall. All you're going to do is chip away the first layer or so. You're going to say that doesn't work or that didn't deliver, and then you're going to move on to the next thing. This is not my first business. Other businesses I've had, I never fully committed like this, and the problem I had therefore is you get a degree of success, but you never really get back the success that you are worthy of, because you never commit long enough to something in order to really reap those rewards. So again, if you relate to this concept of being a tourist, if you are that kind of creative entrepreneur that just naturally gets bored and wants to move on to the next thing, you're gonna have to discipline yourself to stick to things, to really rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. This is how winning's done in business. They find a winning formula and then they bang away at that winning formula. Eventually that winning formula will run out of steam. In other words, you might have a winning formula that takes you from start up to 50K, and then you might need to transition to another winning formula to get you to 100K or more turnover. And then to 7 figures, $1 million or more, you'll have to shift again. And to multi-millions and, does this make sense? And to 8 figures and beyond, 10 million plus, you'll have to shift again. So your basics, some of them may well stay with you from beginning all the way through to your 7 figures and 8 figures. Many of them are going to change, okay? They may need updating along the way. So sales, for example, is going to stay with you a long time, but you may find how you do your sales may change. Marketing is going to be something that you're going to have to always do to a degree, but when you start off for the first 100K, you're probably going to want to just get out there face to face and have these meetings with people and do sales. Then what will happen is as you transition up, you may then need to start bringing in some ads, some campaigns, some whatever it might be, okay? But here's the thing. If you do not have that kind of crazy tunnel focus and that diligence and that perseverance to stick to something and to repeat it over and over and over again, you're only ever going to get so much out. So what I want you to think about right now in your own business are what are the basics? So where are you in your business right now? What is working right now? What is it you should be doing, but maybe you aren't doing, that you need to be showing up for time and time again? I've talked about sales. So I know so many business owners that just don't do the sales activity they need to. They might do a little bit here and a little bit there. Some do barely any. Some might do a little bit of networking and that's it. I'm telling you now, the companies that really succeed, the ones that have sales at the forefront of their business, I did a podcast on this very thing not so long ago. They lead with sales. They have a great product, they have a great service, they got all that in place, and then they lead the business through sales. In other words, they talk about sales first. They bring sales to their business first. They're thinking sales first. That's how you're going to grow your business. If you're not thinking like that around sales, then what happens is you are only having a certain impact in the external world. You're only having a certain impact with your business, and therefore you're only going to have an amount of return. So the reason I called this podcast Basics, Boring Basics is because actually, sometimes the basics just aren't that fancy. Sometimes the basics aren't that sexy. Sometimes the basics seem too simple, too easy to be true. We're looking to complicate things. We're looking to implement the next guru's methodologies for creating success, whether it's in marketing or whether it's in personal branding or what it might be. And we spread ourselves so thin and we never go deep enough on anything in order to really get the results. Think about the athlete that has to spend week after week, month after month, year after year, just running that track, lifting those weights, doing their sprints, doing their stretching, doing their rehab, getting their massages, their nutrition over and over again, right? The basics of their nutrition. They don't fiddle with their diet. They don't play around with it. They have a diet plan. They stick to that. And then what they do is they then adjust it as they go along in order to continually keep getting the results that they want. But what they don't do is suddenly say, right, we're going to stop that course of action. We're going to play with this right now. There's a thought coming in from America that says that if you have a certain blah, blah, blah diet, it could have some kind of results, right? And they're going to say, right, drop everything we know, drop everything that we've been working on so far. Let's go and do that for a bit. It's crazy, right? It sounds crazy. Of course, what you might do is you might say, okay, well, let's look into this a bit further. Let's go and seek some expert, advice. Let's maybe have a little play with it and see how it impacts our overall results. But you wouldn't sit there and say, right, I'm going to stop what I've been doing for the llast year or 2 years that's got me this far, and I'm going to go and play with something else. And I'm going to stop that after 6 months or a few months and go and play with something else. It would be crazy, right? Of course, you're never going to get the results that you want. Your job as a business owner is to work out as quickly as possible what works. And the way you work out as quickly as possible what works is normally by as quickly as possibly working out what doesn't work. Okay, failure is your quickest way to success, okay? It's a bit of a cliche where they say fail your way to success, but the truth of the matter is you want to find out what doesn't work as quickly as possible. You want to seek great wisdom, you want to seek great advice and great mentorship for sure to help hone it. And then you have to apply something, you go for it, and then you want to test and measure that. If it isn't working and you've given it a really fair crack, then you can adjust the strategy. Does this make sense? When you're starting out, it's going to be really hard because you just don't know what is and what isn't the right strategy. So you have to kind of maybe try different things. But once you've got some momentum in your business, I'm telling you now, look back, look in your business right now, what is potent? What is working? What are your current success formulas in yourself as the business owner, in your business, in your product, in your marketing, in your sales? Hone that down. If you can get that down to a handful, like one sheet of paper, which is your list of basics. This is your basics, and you just want to keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Yes, if you bring something else in, it may or may not give you a better result, but it will weaken the input that you're having on the stuff that you know is already working. So you want to make sure that when you've got a winning formula, winning strategy, you don't want to be messing with that too much. You definitely want to keep innovating for sure, okay? You might want to keep experimenting for sure, that's okay. But there's a difference between trying something on, trying something out, and the chopping and changing and giving up on things and moving on and getting bored and everything else. Fundamentally, you want to work out what are the handful of things that I need to be doing maybe every day, every week, every month, every year, over and over and over again in order to get the personal performance, in order to get the business growth that I want to get. Once you work out what they are, it then requires discipline, a commitment to yourself, holding yourself accountable to make sure that you do it. And I tell you now, one of the things that separates those professionals, those amateurs, as I said before, is their willingness to stick to something, their willingness to do something even when they're bored, even when they've lost interest, even when their heart starts moving them on to the next thing or whatever it might be. They stick to it, they're disciplined, and they do what they know they need to do in order to get the result. And they repeat it, and they repeat it, and they repeat it. The truth of the matter is it doesn't have to be boring. I called it boring basics, was really simple because it can feel like that sometimes. Like I want to go and do something new. I want to go and apply something sexy. I want to go and do this. And this person is sitting there going, yeehaw, you can have everything. Yeehaw, take your business like, I don't know, 10 times your business growth, 100 times your business growth. Make £100 for every pound you put into this thing. The Bitcoin bollocks all over Instagram, whatever it might be, okay? Everyone's doing that, and sometimes it's exciting to get brought up in, get caught up in that kind of momentum and to do something new, and it's natural for the brain to do that. However, once you know what the disciplines are that are going to get you the results, repeat, and they don't have to be boring because the professionals understand that it's not just I'm standing here meaninglessly hitting this bag over and over again with the same 3, 4, 5 punch combination. I'm not just sitting there over and over again doing the same exercise, doing the same kicks over and over again. They understand that what they're doing is they're honing themselves, they're sharpening their skills. What they're doing is they are turning themselves into a winning formula. Does this make sense? And they go in there and they understand the commitment and they understand the focus and they understand the purpose behind what they're doing and they connect with all of that, and therefore it doesn't have to be boring. It's meaningful, it's purposeful, and it gets results. So here's the thing, in business, don't be a tourist. You want to absolutely be a professional, think like a professional, and do like the professionals do. First of all, work out what it is that is your winning formula. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And then you adjust as you go along. And as your business grows and transitions, yes, of course, you will need to adjust your strategy. However, you don't want to keep fits and starts, and you don't want to keep hopping from one strategy to the next or one thing to the next. It requires discipline, it requires focus, it requires tenacity, and it does require you to raise your boredom threshold. Okay, awesome guys. Thank you very much for that. I look forward to seeing you next time. If you are a business owner and you have yet to hit 100K or more in turnover, don't forget I do have a webinar that's been specifically designed with the 5-figure service-based business in mind. And it's all about taking your 5-figure business, whether that's 20, 30 or 50K, and turn it into a 100K or more revenue business in the next 12 months or less. It's a 6-figure fast track. It's completely free of charge and it's waiting for you on my website. Go and check it out. It's www.biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk/fast track. biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk/fast track. I'll put the link in the descriptions as well. Completely free of charge, specifically designed with a 5-figure service-based business that wants extreme growth, that wants to take their business to 100K or more in the next 12 months or less. Go and devour that content, devour that information. It will really help you to understand maybe what some of the basics are needed for you and your business growth, and it will help you on your professional journey and your professional career as a successful entrepreneur. Look forward to seeing you next time. As always, until then, be successful.